Good Wednesday. It's time for the North Carolina Vinyl Picker Show. And on this show, we're going to go ahead and do my top 5 resolutions for 2025. That's correct. But it'll be at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. First off, we're going to do the top 10 finds of 2024. That's right. These are the top 10 finds that I found used. I must have bought well over 300 used records this year. Just an incredible amount. And at the end of the video, at the very end of the video, I'm doing a dual room tour. I've moved all my records from this room, just about all of them, over to another room that's adjacent to this room. And this is just going to be my stereo room where I listen to my music. I'm going to get a chair, a comfy chair, and some rugs in here. And you got my candles and my incense, and I can just chill out. And then I got all my vinyl in another room. I'm selling all my CDs. And if you're interested in buying CDs, just go to my store. There'll be a link down below. The North Carolina Vinyl Picker. Big Cheap Vinyl 57. That's right. So stay tuned for that and go ahead and just buy all my CDs so I can get rid of them all. I'm just trying to get rid of them all. And they've been flying out the door pretty quickly. That's about all I got to say about that. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and get into the top 10 records that I found in 2024. I know you're at the edge of your seat. Up in Asheville, North Carolina, there's a store up there called Harvest Records. And I go up there maybe once a month. And I always go in there and look up on the Love Me wall. I have my own Love Me wall now. You'll see that wall in the video at the end. But I have the Love Me wall. And I look for something that's really cool, and I found this up there. Quadraphonic copy of Dark Side of the Moon. He had like $35 on it. I snatched that sucker right off the wall, let me tell you. And I put it under my arm. I wasn't going to let nobody get a hold of that sucker. This thing sounds incredible. It's German, and I've never heard Dark Side of the Moon as clear as I've heard it when I heard it. This copy, just incredible. So, yeah, I was glad to get it, and I'm going to keep it. It's my favorite copy of Dark Side of the Moon. I've heard that album a million times, but never like that. And then I went there another day. Yeah, that's all right. I went there another day, and I saw this one up there. Yes, Wish You Were Here, but it's a half-speed master, and this was on the wall, and he had like $35 on that. And I snatched it off the wall just like that, and I put it under my arm, and I walked out of the store with it. I paid for it first. And I got a few other things. But I was glad to get it. And I think I sold my other copy in my store. Because I don't need another copy if I got a half-speed master. Okay. So I went up to a records show. And it was up in Johnson City, I think. Yeah, that's where I went. I went to Johnson City, Tennessee. And I saw this in a bin. Steven Wilson. Pure Stars. This is a live recording, and he had $20 on it, and I snatched this sucker up. I couldn't get it fast enough. I love Steven Wilson, as you can tell. There's my expanding wall of Steven Wilson stuff that I'm still working on, but it's got some great stuff on here. And yeah, look at the record. So I got this, but now what's really cool about it is this one here is the other one. See, they go together. It's 2 different nights. This is recorded in Israel. This one's called Cats and Trains. There's a solo acoustic performance by Steven Wilson. These are harder to get than hen's teeth. And I really couldn't believe I was at a record show up in Johnson City and I found that one. So that was my other cool find. I got lots of cool finds. I probably got about 50 or 100 of them, but I'm just going to show you 10 tonight. So I was in a thrift store. And this thrift store is in Morganton, North Carolina. Yeah, that's where it's at. And it's a Habitat, I think, for Humanity. Pretty sure. And I found this one. Minty Mint Fresh. Superman. But not only Superman, Wonder Woman. That's right. And not only Wonder Woman, and not only Superman, how about the Amazing Spider-Man? These were all $1 a piece. Then I got my veterans discount. I think I paid about 60 cents a piece for them. But I'm not putting them in my store, boys and girls. No, 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 no. They're going over in my library. That's right. Look at those. Those are pretty cool. Not only pretty cool, they are cool. So there you go. Pretty cool. I was up in Denver, North Carolina with my wife. We were up there and we were going over to Mooresville. And we stopped in this little thrift store next to a bagel shop. And the bagel shop was awesome. We got some bagels. Got the Jersey boys got to get his bagels. And then he went next door to the thrift store. We walked around there. There wasn't a whole lot, but there was a pile of records. So I went through them. Now, this little town is probably got about maybe 400 people living in this town. One thrift store, a bank, maybe a post office, 2 gas stations, and a Food Lion. That's probably all it's, and maybe a McDonald's. Maybe. I don't even think it had a McDonald's. But they did have this. Kate Bush, December will be magic again. Can you believe it? It was in the bottom of a pile of records. 10 cents. I couldn't believe it. I snatched it up, put it in my records. I put it up here on my wall with my Kate Bush 45s. But I was really shocked to find this up there. You know, to some people, this ain't worth 2 cents. But to me, it's worth a lot more than what I paid for it. 50 cents, I think it was. And then I was down in Lunchbox Records, down in Charlotte. And I was down there with local bandology, Dave. Yes, I was. And it might have been the day that Steve Carlson was here. It could have been. And so I've only been to Lunchbox maybe a handful of times, because I live about an hour and a half from there. And this Ashra Correlations album was in the bin for like, I don't know, $20 or something. So I've been wanting this album. And it's a prog psych album, I guess you call it. And probably more like krautrock. And so I got it and everything. And then when I showed it to Dave, Dave said, oh, I brought that in a couple of weeks ago. So this is actually local bandology's copy that went through the store and then over to me. So that was pretty cool. And then I was up in Hudson, North Carolina, one sunny day. And I was looking around with my wife. And that was the day that I've told this story before, that I was walking out. And I think there was a ghost in the store. And it was pretty spooky, let me tell you, because I was walking out of this room down a step, had to go down a step. And then behind me, a picture fell off the wall, went smash. It went to smithereens. It was all over the floor. It just about hit me in the head. Oh, man, I almost got wiped out that day just for some records. The picker, he goes through some stuff for you to bring stuff to the table, let me tell you. Okay, so then while I was in there, I found this album. Oh, my goodness. Edgar Winter, They Only Come Out at Night. It's got Frankenstein on here. It's a quadraphonic copy. $5. How can you beat it for $5? Quadraphonics are awesome. Don't sleep on quadraphonic pressings, let me tell you, boys and girls. It's a great album. It's got Frankenstein on here. It's got Slow Ride, I think. Free Ride. Slow Ride was Foghat, wasn't it? It's got Free Ride on here. Great song. And then I was up in Lenoir, North Carolina. I was up there one day with my wife, and she was probably waiting in the car. She gives me 20 minutes. Can you believe it? She gives the picker 20 minutes to get in there. I got to go through hundreds and hundreds of records, and she only gives me 20 minutes. But those 20 minutes are valuable. So I take every minute, believe me. Linda Hoover. Now this album, you might say, who the heck is this Linda Hoover? Well, Steely Dan plays on this album. That's right. It was a record store day release that I tried to get a few years back. I don't know if it has no, it doesn't tell you what year the record store day it was. But it's a lost 1970s masterpiece featuring songs by Walter Becker and Donald Fagen, Stephen Stills, and Richard Manuel. Richard Manuel was from the band. This is a great album. She's got a great voice. And if you haven't heard this album, you need to give it a listen. Whether you like Steely Dan or not, Linda Hoover is just an awesome artist. Overlooked, I'm sure. I've never heard of her until this album came out. Sorry for the glare on that. This past May, me and my wife took a trip. The trip of a lifetime. We went to Alaska. That's right, boys and girls. We went to Alaska. And we might go back again. Not next year. Oh, no, we're already in 2025. 2026 for our 30th wedding anniversary. She wants to go back. Can you believe it? She wants to go back up there to Alaska. It's got to be in the springtime when it's not so cold. Because it was cold up there when we went up there last time in May, this past May. Well, we'll see if it happens. I know this coming year we got to go to her family reunion. So that's going to happen. And then I get to go shopping up in Maryland. It's right. Okay, so when I was up in Alaska, we were in Anchorage. That was our first stop. We went up as far as we started working our way back. And we were walking around town, and we were looking for the specific antique store that was in town. And we went to the door, and the door was locked. I said, oh, shit. We walked all the way up here, and it's locked. The only store in town to find a record. So I went around to the side door, and it was open. I walked in. I started walking around. And then I said, anybody here? Anybody here? You guys open today? The lady said, oh, you scared me. You scared me. She was in there bringing stuff in from her car. And when I was in there, I looked around and I saw this in a pile of records. Deep Purple, live in Japan. She had $20 on it. This is a double album. This is a Friday's music release, and this thing sounds incredible. I might just play it here in a few minutes. But it's a great album. $20. That was my pickup in Anchorage. My one pickup. They had other records there, but I wasn't interested in them. So then we went to the capital of Alaska. We stopped in there, Juneau, on one of the last stops on our trip. And I went downtown, and there was a record store downtown, but my wife didn't go with me. I went down there by myself. I hustled down there. The guy said that he was there only to work on putting some records and Discogs and stuff, and he was working at the store. But you can come down, he said. You can come down and look around. So I bought a handful of records, and I found this one there, Allan Parsons, I, Robot. And this one here is a original master recording. This thing sounds incredible. I remember hearing this album when I was on my first ship, and I was stationed in Baltimore in the yards, and it was freezing cold up there in Maryland. And I remember hearing I, Robot for the first time. I think it came out when 77, right after I graduated high school. So there you go. There's my top 10 finds. I'm sure I could go back in there in the other room there and find 10 more with 10 more stories for you. But I'll leave that for another day. I've been rambling on for 13 minutes like the goat says. I don't know how he gets all them little things on there, like a Pac-Man thing. So my top 10, no, not top 10. What am I doing? Now you must be crazy. My top 5 resolutions for this coming year, which is starting today. So Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. Number 5, I'm going to concentrate on records on my list. Now, I've said this before, but I always veer off my list pretty easily. But I'm going to try to keep my list current. I'm going to go by that list, and I'm just going to get stuff that's on my list. And I'm going to try to buy half the amount of records I bought last year this coming year. Because I got my eyeballs on a new truck. Yeah, I do. Yeah, really. If I get the truck, then I'm going to show it on my next show. That's a promise. That's a promise. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and concentrate on my list, and I'm just going to downsize. I only bought 10 new records last year. The other 300 were used. So, I bought a lot of them in more brick and mortar stores. I bought a lot of them online. This year, I'm going to be buying probably more online and just concentrating on those that I want. Because when I go to a store, I end up going off the list. I go off the list. Number 4. No, you're all waiting for number 4. I'm going to concentrate on my 1,500 calorie diet. But when I was in the hospital, the doctor said I need to go to 1,800 calories a day. I've lost 50 pounds, thereabouts, in the last 4 years by going on my phone. I can't show you, but there's an app on my phone that I follow. And I put in everything, whether it's a banana or, a soda. I don't drink soda. Whether it's, just something, whatever it is, I put it in my app. And I keep it at 1,500 calories. But he said to go over a little bit, try to get 1,800. So there you go. That's my goal. That's number 4 goal. For 19? Oh, I wish it was. 2025. Number 3, more exercise. I need to get out on my treadmill more. I need to get to the park and walk Jack and do that more. I need to get out and do some more. Right now it's pretty cold up here in them mountains up here. North Carolina. That's right. A little bit cold up here. Number 2, take care of myself. No one's getting any younger, and I just turned 67. So you got to take care of yourself. Make sure you go to the doctors. The doctor told me in the hospital that the people around here that are in their 40s and 50s are less healthy than those that live in Florida that are in their 80s. So there you go. You got to get out there and you got to see the doctor. If you got something wrong with you, go to the doctor, get checked out, because you may have 4 or 5 things wrong with you. And then if you get too many wrong with you, that's not good. So make sure you take care of yourself and get out there. A little PSA there. Coming in at number 1, resolution for 2025. Watch only YouTube videos that are positive. There's way too many videos out there that say this is my top 10 albums that I hate, or these are my 25 records that I hate. I don't watch those. I don't watch anything that has the word hate in it. I'll just bypass that and I'll just go on to the next one. Watch something else that's positive. Now, this is what I've been doing for the past 3 years. When I started my show 3 years ago, that's what I do. You could go back through all my 400 shows and you won't find anything that's negative in any of them, I don't believe. And if there is, let me know and I'll delete them, because I don't believe in all that. You got to stay positive in life, and you got to stay positive with the stuff that you watch on TV or on YouTube. So, no hate. Okay? And worst, I don't want to watch any videos that say, this is the worst videos, or this is the worst VC channels, or this is the worst albums of 2024. I ain't watching those either. If somebody thinks they're the worst, why would you want to watch them? And anything that's negative. I ain't watching anything that's negative anymore. I'm just done with it. So, I'm done with it. I'm just going to watch stuff that's positive, like birds chirping and then, eagles flying through the air, stuff like that. Vinyl Richie, he's always positive, I'll watch Richie, Steve Carlson. So there you go. That's my 5 resolutions for 2025. I think they're pretty doable, and I'm going to work on those vigorously. So that's all I got. I've just been yapping for like 18 minutes. Some people say they don't watch nothing over 12 minutes. Most people don't watch my video after 6 minutes. So there you go. But hopefully you stay to the end. If you like my show, come back. I'll be back on Sunday. I'll probably have something to show. I got a few new records. I've been listening to an album right here in front of me, but I don't want to spoil anything and show you now. I think I'm going to Boone, North Carolina tomorrow. So while I'm up there, maybe I'll find a couple records to bring to the table to show you, all you good people out there. Thanks for all my new subscribers. And welcome to 2025 with the North Carolina Vinyl Picker. And I'll be back. I'll see you on Sunday. Bye for now. Take care. Support the troops. All that stuff. I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Bye. This is room tour 2025. The Prague bin. that's it so far.